You know, after years of this metal moving journey I've been on, I have recently had an epiphany. While I have enjoyed making and collecting an arsenal of metal mashers, and let's be honest, moving big steel with big hammer make brain happy. But I've also gained a massive appreciation for working small, and that's the rub. These are the two smallest forging hammers I have. I love them, I use the hell out of them, but this is a recent jewelry project I worked on. Can you see? It's very small. It was a super fun project, but heck if I didn't make it way more challenging on myself by not having the right tool for the job. I think you understand where we're going. We're making hammers. Alrighty, I am gonna suit up, fire up the forge, and then we're gonna talk game plan. Got it? Good. Let's get to it, Dan. Alright, here's the game plan. We are going to use two different types of steel to make two different types of hammers, and for funsies, we're going to do two different processes. Process one is going to be the simpler of the two, and we're going to use A33, which is this wacky looking material here. And a lot of smiths use this for tools, like punches and drifts and things like that. So I can only assume it's going to make a nice little beeper. Another cool aspect of this material is that it's water hardening, but supposedly you don't have to temper it, which just makes our job that much easier. So for our simple, more traditional flat peen hammer, we're going to use this, and we're going to use minimal tools to make it. For the second hammer, we're going to use 1045, which is what a lot of hammer makers use. It's a mid-carbon steel, it's easy to work with, water quenchable, easy to temper. I really just want to explore some different geometries with a flat, wide circular face, and then like a ball peen on the back. I think that's it. Let's cut some steel. Seeing as I want to make both of these hammers between, 3/4 and 1 pound, the way I work out how much steel I need is I Google it and I find a metal calculator online. Do that. Alright, while we wait for the forge to heat up, let's talk about a slight discrepancy between these two pieces of steel and how I want them to end up. Now we use this clay to discuss shaping of metal because this is effectively this under heat. If I can just get this in a form that looks more like our steel, alright, that's a little closer. What I want is less length on my hammer and a little bit more mass on the front end. So how we're going to achieve that is by turning our stock upright and squishing it down. See? Less of a hot dog, more of a super ugly potato. After that, we punch the hole and then we squish this backside down. We can end up with something a little bit closer to our illustration. Savvy? Let's start heating up this steel. Oh, and we'll talk about that one later. That will never cease to amaze me that we made this into this. I love it. Now that we've got our starting stock, all I have to do is center punch this on both sides so I have something to reference when it's rocking hot. And then I can punch a hole and then drift it and shape the back and give everything a nice little tune-up. And that's hammer one donezo. Oh, also we have to quench it. But we already said that part's easy. now that we got the hole punch, I'm gonna kind of jump back and forth between shaping the back end into the cross peen and then drift, and then and then drift, and then that. And you kind of creep up on both of them, because by hitting here, it's going to deform the eye, reestablish the eye, reshape the back, and a teensy bit of cleanup, and we're done. Let's roll. And if for some reason you think using an angle grinder is not using minimal tools or it's some type of cheating, then shut up. All right, now that we're all cleaned up, we only have 2 steps left. First, put my hot stamp in it. Second, harden it. All right, second verse, same as the first, sort of. We have this nice little cube of 1045 steel, and we're gonna make some cool geometry happen with this, hopefully. Back to the clay. Ta-da! All right, the main differences that we're gonna do on our second piece will be reforming this steel a smidge, because we don't need all this squareness going on. I'm gonna start shaping this front end to really give it a nice big circular wide face, and then we're gonna have to pull the back end of this out as well, so that I can then make our little ball on the back side of it. I think you get the idea. Stick with me, because this time we're using gear, equipment, machines, whatever we have access to make the thing that we want. Let's go. As much as I'd like to say I nailed the forging on this, I still don't quite have as many tools and dies that I would need to really come out with a perfect forging. So we're going to use this beautiful piece of equipment, which is my Ameribraid belt grinder. Do a little bit of cleanup. Let's rock! All right, now that we've got our 2 hammerheads made, we just need to make handles. Now, it's not rocket surgery, and also I've done some more in-depth videos in the past in terms of handle making, but here's the gist of it. We're gonna take a piece of wood, in this case, a very nice piece of ash. I'm gonna mark out the eye of the hammer, then I'm gonna chuck it up in a vise, and I start shaping around the eye. We're gonna take the bulk of the material off with a draw knife, and then I'll be switching back and forth between a Shinto rasp, one of my favorite tools, and a half-round file. The shape of handles is really up to your discretion, but we're going to focus on a couple of things. One is a nice tight fit of the handle in the eye of the hammer. And 2, and nice soft shoulders. That way all of the impact that's taken by the head of the hammer is distributed down the handle. Look, you don't want a shelf or a hard shoulder. If it's gonna break, it's gonna break right there. Ask me how I know. Other than that, make the shape and length of the handle whatever you want. Live your best life. I like facets because the tool is less susceptible to spinning in your hand. I don't know, sand it to 10,000 if you wanted to. I'm not a woodworker. After I've got the handle the shape that I want, I just split the top of it, make a wedge, put the head on there, put the wedge in there, cut off the excess, and our new little beeper is ready to rock. As for the second hammer, I just made it a little bit more of an elegant shape because, you know, sometimes you just feel fancy. So that's it. I needed tools, I made the tools, and I got to practice and work on my process along the way, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. If you'd like to see other videos of me tutorializing the kind of work that I do, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know which style you like more or which one you would use more. I'm gravitating towards this one because it's just, I like it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, all the things. If you want to support me directly, I have a Patreon. Patrons get access to a crew-only feed where we talk more behind-the-scenes stuff and what projects I've got in the works. Or you could throw a little tin in the hat, buy me a coffee. I got one of those too. And one more thing. I made more. And they will be available on the website. You know, that way you got a tool to make your other tools and stuff. That's it. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.